I'm using the MacBook Pro 16 with Boot Camp Mapo, installed Windows 10. Works, no problem. The operating system on the Mac side was, I think, the latest before iOS 26. I think that was 15, was it? I had to do a crack, as they say, because otherwise I couldn't put the latest. And the reason why I want to do the latest is to get the latest and last Boot Camp software. Works perfect. I can do everything. Okay, here I am just unplugging my mouse and getting ready to use this screen. Okay, let me zoom in on this. Okay, I'm going to show you the contact. I have to be in memory of that DMR so I can see the list. I hit menu, contact list shows up. I want to view the DMR ID, enter, and I want to see the list. So right on top, it tells me I have 136,115. So there you go. I'm hoping I have 160,000 capacity, but as I mentioned before, when you're uploading such a large file using the Kenwood, this happens to be the TID radio version, once in a while it comes to communication error. I'm assuming that my volume should not be too low and not to be too high. I have no issues reading, and I don't even pay attention to what my volume is on. Usually I turn on, it's on the low side. And it's only when I'm importing do I get the communication errors. Okay, thought I'd mention that. Okay, just going to resize the window a little bit here. I got my camera on the angle, by the looks of it. Program, and then select Write Radio ID, and then this window shows up. And you can't access anything behind it. This is the active window. And the first button is Input. That's where you would import. And then the output, whatever is in this window, it will be saved. And if you want to write to it, to the radio, you hit the write, but what we're going to be doing here, I'm going to do an import from the radio. So I'm going to do a read. And I'm going to read in about 137,000 records using a Kenwood type cable. So it's going to take a while. I should have timed it, but it feels like it's 20 minutes to a half hour. So give you an idea just how long it takes. No problem to read from the radio, only when you write you run into issues sometimes. Okay, I took a pause and made myself a cup of coffee, sit down. Yeah, expect about 20 minutes, a half hour. I never timed it, so I'm not sure exactly how long it takes. And I know the radio has about 137,000 records, which includes all of Canada and all of the United States. I'm going to give it a try and import North America. North America would include Canada, United States, and I think Mexico, Bermuda, Cuba, those areas. Maybe Puerto Rico, I can't recall. I think it's still under 160,000, so I'm hoping that I can import those. But again, such a large file. This is where USB-C would have been great. You wouldn't have that noise issue, nor you have to worry about setting your volume, or be sure the volumes are correct, or some other interferences. I haven't looked into it. Perhaps there is an independent circuit that shouldn't have no effect, or it may be dependent. It depends on the radio. So if you happen to know, let me know in the comments below. It's just an area I never bothered to play with. I'll show you what I did with my FileMaker database there, but in the event you're going to use a text editor or something like that, you can do the same thing. The first thing, of course, you have to determine the record headers. The spelling is important, should be exact. I have to determine if it's a tab or a comma database. Usually it's a comma. And I know in Europe, when they have a CSV files, they also use quotes. I think in America, or at least that version, they don't use quotes. They just use the comma only. So you may have to remove the quotes. In some cases, they use both. Quotes in some fields and not in other fields. There's reasons for it. So what I would suggest is first enter a radio ID, call sign, name, city, state, country, and then remarks if you want. You can make it up, okay? And do about 4 or 5 of those, and then do an output, okay? You'll be prompted to put a file name, and if it doesn't exist, it will tell you want to create a new one, so you create a new one, and then import it, okay? Then import it, and see how well it worked, and maybe you'll catch some mistakes. Once you got that done, don't throw it away, that file. Go get your text file, the one you've corrected, so it matches the records in the same order, and do a select all, copy, and at the end of the 3 or 4 records that you created, just do a paste. So, and basically that's the way to do it, and hopefully it works out for you. You may have to try 2 or 3 times because there is something invisible that got pasted in it and it threw it off somehow. And anyways, it took about 2 or 3 attempts, and I took care of it. Okay, I got some information back from TID Radio because I was having a GPS issue, and also wondering if they're going to be making any updates to use some of the features like importing certain files. In the meantime, I slowly figure a few things out myself. My understanding is they have to do in-house programming because the people that made it for them are no longer around, and so hopefully it won't take long, and hopefully they can then make more changes and updates. Generally speaking, every once in a while you think there might be a bug in this software, and there is some quirks, but some of it is caused by the user. For example, let's say I have a field selected and then I decide to do something else and I move my mouse. Some of those fields, when you move your mouse, scroll, actually will scroll and make the changes and you don't realize it. Another thing is memory limitation of this program. Every time you select one of those side features, whether it be a channel or a scan or contact, whatever, is actually a new window that opens up. And over a period of time, if you look on the top row, you'll see a whole bunch of tabs open. Eventually, you reach a point where the program doesn't seem to act or respond well. And so you figure, okay, I'll save and restart. Well, you may have corrupted some of your settings. So get into the habit of hitting close. Every window, when you finish, close, close, close. So you always have a clear mid-gray screen. That will help a lot. And I make a point, before I make changes to my radio, I import or read from the radio, then look at the list, see if everything is kosher, and not make a few corrections. Obviously, that has happened to me a few times, and it was my fault because of the mouse scenario. and then make the changes, then write it to the radio, then save it, and you'll find it'll be usable. In the meantime, this is Windows 10. I think that's typical of all of them. Also keep in mind, all these radios, if you're serious in it, they're basically beta versions. Yeah, beta versions. All you can do is look for the best beta. Well, this is what it looks like after you read your digital contact list from the radio. And it will look different depending on how you organized your files. On my program, I can sort this by call sign, name, city, state, or any combination. But I think in this particular case, I did country, and then I did state, and then I did call sign, and maybe the ID record, which doesn't show up here. So yeah, it's very, very, very customizable to the way you want to see it on the list. The remarks normally would be blank, but I use that field to determine how much memory I really can or do have on this radio, because I can't find it nowhere online, and I'm getting different information. I think they're getting mixed up with digital contact lists and contacts. Contacts is the one you use for groups, and I think there's a limit of 200. Some say 500, but 200 is enough groups. And so far, I know that I have 137,000 approximately of records. There's 100 pages. At 1,600 pages, that means I should be able to do 160,000. Maybe they added a bit of extra there for updates on new radios or something. I don't know. I'm going to test that out by downloading North American lists, which would include Mexico, Bermuda, Cuba, and all that other stuff. Okay, in that field where my cursor is putting, I put in 1,300 pages, not memories. 1,300 pages times 100. And then I hit that little arrow to the left, and now I'm scrolling through to find the end of this file. And I should be coming up to it about now. I think it was, oops, there you go. Let me go back there. 1,285.59. Yeah, 12,088.59. Those are the total records. Now that's just for United States. Okay. Canada is around 7,000, and I'll scroll through and illustrate that by going back. And let me go down until I hit about 7,000 and something. Let's see. 4, 5,000, 6,000. Oops. Let me go back. Too much clicking there. Okay, scroll down. Okay, then I gotta go back one more. There you go. 7256. There you go. That's how much Canadian contacts are. All of Canada. Okay. I'm using FileMaker Pro version 17. That was my last purchase. I haven't bothered buying the newer ones. As long as it still works, it's good enough. And I believe I also have 16 where I can create a standalone. This way, I'm thinking I can share this without people having to buy FileMaker, but I have to test and see if it still works with the current operating system. I'm using a MacBook Pro 4 with the Pro 4 M4 chip Pro, and iOS 26, the very latest. I believe it's iOS 26, is it 0.1 or 0.01, something of that sort, last update. And this is October the 3rd of 2025. Okay, basically, let me unplug my mouse. I was charging. Get my mouse back. There we go. Now, as you can see, I have more than 7 fields. I just did a search online and downloaded all the digital contact lists. And apparently they have a few extra fields like call type, call alert. Now, continent, that's me. Record ID, that's me. That's my own stuff, which I use to manipulate the database. It doesn't get exported. However, I can if it was needed, but I don't. Okay, so this is just the Alberta list. Or, no, that's not Alberta yet. Hold on. I will... Yeah, just taking a look here. I have not updated. This is, I believe, Canada. Okay, this is Canada, which is my default when I first open it. However, I can click US and it'll give me US. There you go, it's done. And if I want Calgary only, I have Calgary only, which is about 203. Now, let me go to the actual text file. I downloaded the whole world using continents like Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, Oceania, South America. And I believe it's all, yeah. And then they had one where you did all of it. Let me, yeah. Can't remember. I think it's under 200,000, I believe. Okay. And my program, I can break it up. Like I can do a search. It will display this to Yukon, for example, and then I can export this to Yukon. The main reason I did that is because some programs, they like to import in segments or in groups of 100 or less. Fortunately for me, the TID radio, DMR radio, the DP738UV, it will wrap around to the next page. So, as long as I don't exceed whatever memory it is, 136,000 at least, maybe more, it will import it and wrap around each 100-page segment that I showed to you on my Windows 10. But it just illustrates what I can do. If I had a radio where I was only limited maybe to 200-300 memories or 500, I could be specific as to what contact list I want in there. So that's the reason why this is created. I can delete it, and if I need it back again, I push one little button. It'll show you the scripts. It's a work in progress. Like if I deleted Alberta and I want Alberta again, I hit it, it's done. Already. And what's nice too, I could update the information for Alberta, 552. Okay, that's what it has. And I can also, I have not yet made these buttons live, but when I'm complete, I hit city, it will sort in city. And right now I believe it's sorted by province. Let me see how it's sorted. Okay, oh yes, I have 2 in here, so I have to replace both of them. My mistake. Let's try that again. There we go. I selected the wrong one. And these are the call signs that don't have cities put in. I guess they decided not to do that. But it's there. If I know them, I could look it up and I could put it in using the QRZ information. So that's it. Yeah. I have two sorts here because I was manipulating groups of 100. So I really don't need this anymore. So I could disable that and enable it when I have to do it again. So. And I could also redo the record ID. So you can see it's so easy to manipulate. Copy, and I'm going to do this again so I could change the record ID. Okay, I lied. I had remarks in there. Let's go back to, I believe it's record ID. Now we'll try that again. So, I got the record ID, and now if I want both, I just duplicate and select remarks. And I had it going to the last record. Let me go to the first record so I don't have to scroll. I mean, just illustrating the power of what I can do. So it's quick and easy. So the remarks is what I will see when I import. And I can do it in such a way that if I combine Canada, United States, I could have the record ID and remarks be in sync all the way through, properly counted, or I could break it up in groups. It's easy enough to do that on the fly. So that's basically it. And when I want to export a field, this is what I specify, what I need. And if I have a different type of radio that has different fields, I can duplicate this and then make the changes. And it's done. So I've been looking at buying the FileMaker 22, but for the price, I could buy a new radio and have more use. This is working, and it gets to a point where there's only so many radios you're going to have, and as long as this keeps on working, it's fine. What will happen is I can, let's say it no longer works with iOS 27. That's why I keep an older computer. I can use the older computer and keep using this. So that's it. That's done. So that's how I do it. Okay, I've just set up both of these radios. For the EMR, when I transmit with this one, notice my call sign. Now some radios have more displays. Okay, you're hearing a little bit of audio going through there. Turn the volume low. Gives you more than just the call sign. Gives you name, address, things of the sort. I have not played with this yet on the radio, what it can't do. There are settings I gotta go in. But here's an example. Now there's one more thing you need to watch out. These are dual bands. So if your other radio is in analog mode, same frequency or close by, this is what you'll get. . 'Cause See? That's the digital. But this one, I both on DMR. Testing 1, 2, 3. There you go. Okay, thought I'd let you know about that. Have a nice day. If you haven't done so, it would be appreciated. Please subscribe. And thank you for watching. Have a nice day.